That's fine. This one I feel like is going to be a little short anyway. But do you want to get into our intro?
Welcome back, guys. This is The Shit Show. Sarah. Hello.
And I'm Erika. And we are Living Understaffed, the podcast about not having enough hands or hours and when your best just isn't very good. How have you been understaffed this week, Sarah?
Well, okay, first of all, crazy weather storm, wintry storm hit earlier this week. So we were off work for a day, which was great. I slept. I literally sat in bed the entire day and was just playing on my phone. I was crocheting. I was napping. It was wonderful. But however, wheels don't stop turning at work, right? We have students coming in next week. We have things that need to be done. There's things that I'm behind on from the holiday block leave that we were supposed to have that I was busy every single day and couldn't get caught up. So it was like, everything's fine. So it turned out to be super busy for a couple of days. And then today we're off work because of President Carter's funeral. So yay for a federal holiday. So sorry for President Carter's family. And then tomorrow we might not have work again because we have another winter storm coming in. So like, I am just understaffed in a sense of like, I want to be at work so I can get shit done. But I'm at that like burned out level that I'm like, I don't want to fucking go anywhere near that building because I hate it. Like, it's a love-hate relationship right now. So I'm understaffed in a sense of I want to be home and napping because I don't want to be awake. But I'm also like anxious and ready to get things done at work so I don't feel so behind. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm understaffed. I actually got a lot done over the break work-wise. There was a lot of projects I wanted to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I was revamping our onboarding process and just because it hadn't been done in a while and a lot of things were irrelevant. And then figuring out we have a couple of new programs that are starting up and sort of like the POCs for that and just, being proactive about it. Because I was one of the only people that was in the office. So I am, however, understaffed because I'm one of those people where Sarah and I were just talking about this. If I am struggling with something mentally, my brain will just spin. I'll just spin
Spiral
on the one thought.
Spiral.
Because I'm like, there's like just trying to find a way that it like fits into my
psyche
belief system, which is how yes, which is how everybody is. But I'm just like, I recognize it. I know that it's happening.
Girl.
Ugh. I know. Dude, Daisy is passed out on my laundry pile. She was like, oh, yes, thank you.
Laundry, thanks.
Anyway. So for that, it's just been using up all my brain power on this thing that I don't need to be spending this much brain power on. I just don't. I should just learn to accept things that are nice for me because I deserve them. But that's ridiculous.
That's a wild notion. Thank you so much for your opinion. I will take it into consideration.
Right? Oh. This is why therapy is important, folks.
Correct. I was just talking about this the other day, that like therapy is something that people can use throughout their lives. It's not just for traumatic events. It's not just like I have a little bit of PTSD and like I've talked about my therapist a few times. I think she's going to come on the show, which I'm super pumped about. My therapist in Germany was life-changing. And I can't tell you how many times like I think about things that like random conversations that we had in the short time that we were seeing each other. And like, I want to thank her every single time that I have some new like revelation that I'm like, oh my God, we talked about this 5 years ago when I started therapy with her. And like, I need to reach out to her, but it's 2 a.m. and I can't believe like, I'm not going to send her a message. That's insane. But I was talking about this with somebody the other day and how like, therapy isn't just for the PTSD. It's not just for the childhood trauma or adult trauma. It's not just for divorce or whatever, but it's also for like, oh my God, I'm getting married. I need to manage my emotions. I need to manage my, bridezilla. I need to figure these things out. Or, like my aunt and uncle and my aunt's Alzheimer's, my uncle is disabled, my mother's terminal cancer. That's all happening at the same time in the mix of things. And my siblings, we all live in separate places. None of us live in the same city or the same state. Well, some of them do, but they live hours apart, right? So how do I manage my emotions going through? These are like, if and when death happens, which is going to happen to everyone, but like, how do I manage that emotion? I don't necessarily have the greatest relationship with my mother, but she has stage 4 cancer. So how do I deal? So we had pretty good conversation about how like therapy is not just a one and done thing that you're like, oh, you're fixed. Cool. Have a good day. This is an ongoing like life learning toolbox that you have to utilize every now and then. And for the people that, therapy is not for you, it's nuanced, it's new age bullshit, that's fine. But there are other outlets as well. It doesn't just have to be counseling. So huge advocate.
Yeah. And yes. I mean, I think something that I realized, like, I think everyone does this. Especially if you didn't have like parents that are like, have a hobby, because I did not.
Yeah.
Realizing that you have like, okay, like your mental health is a whole, it's not just one thing. Like you have to have like hobbies and do things that you like by yourself that are for you. And you have to do something, whether that's your job or a volunteer thing or whatever that fulfills you, like that, like gives you purpose. And then, have people in your life that aren't dicks, whether that's a partner or friends or whatever. And in order to maintain that system, you have to sometimes you have to learn those coping skills, whether you were raised by the most perfect parents ever and you learned you're very good at emotional regulation, or you weren't and you had all this trauma. Like you have to you have to deal with the trauma in order to get to the coping skills part. But that stuff is really important. Like it is important to be able to manage situations in a way that doesn't like completely derail you or even just derail your day. Like I remember the first time I was able to, because I've always had like, especially when I was younger, I used to have like panic attacks, like full on like panic. And I had it like 3 times a week minimum. And I would start like spiraling and I could feel it coming. Like my brain would start spiraling and then it would attach to something and it would just and I could not stop it. And when I was finally able to like feel the anxiety and sort of like not attach the anxiety to a thought, and how much easier it made it for me to sort of like ground myself and not like, lose all of that time and energy and just like stress and cortisol and all of that stuff. Like, and it takes a long time and it takes practice. Like, it's not just like somebody tells you to do something and you're like, oh, wow, thanks. I know how to do that now. But it's,
it's
anyway,
a skill that
so
you
far
hone.
off topic.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a skill that you hone, and it's something that like, say like I have these ups and downs on a regular basis where like I'm good for 2 weeks. I have the perfect amount of energy, the perfect amount of sleep, the perfect amount of coffee, the perfect amount of working out, the perfect amount of vitamin D and vitamin D. Everything is perfect. And then something happens, some kind of event, some kind of something that's like triggering that happens. And I have to like, there's sometimes that I am so good for so long that I compartmentalize. And when things tank, I'm like, oh God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I panic and I spiral in that where I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle my emotions. And then I shut down because I'm like, I have no tools to help me, which is incorrect. Right. But then like, I have to take a nap. I have to feed myself with true nutrients, not just, chocolate. Like, and I have to like remember how to do those things. And I think that that's, part of like that I'm just going to dose my entire body with cortisol and forget everything I know how to do, including how to take care of myself, which again, one of those things is self-care. That it was like, I still remember the conversation with my therapist that she was like, what are you doing for you? Because I went in there and I was like, I want to fix my marriage and I want to fucking make him do things and I want to make myself do things. And, because I'm also, I find myself mostly humble in a sense of like the confident side where like, I know I'm the shit and I know we've talked about it before, my table is full. But like, I'm also humble enough to know that like perfection is never going to happen for me. And I'm okay with that. Like that, I don't want to be perfect. That's boring. Like I want to be spontaneous and I want to have flaws because that's conversation topics, like, so I forgot where I was going with that, but it is a set of tools to use throughout your life. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk, and I'll shut up now.
I love you, but I'm going to hurt your feelings. And my own feelings at the same time.
Okay.
You and I are both very action oriented. Whenever you are talking about the things that you're proud of and the things about yourself that you love, they're things that you are doing for other people and not just who you are as a person.
That does hurt. I'm pouting.
Cause girl same. I was like, oh, I do all these things. And they're like, what about just who you are? I'm like, ooh. Ooh.
Nobody wants that. What do you mean?
Yeah. Ooh.
Listen. Okay, but we can say we have gotten to a point. This podcast is for me. I love that we have listeners. I love that we have 7 people that like regularly listen to this. We love each and every 7 of you. But like, I also do this for me because it's such an amazing outlet. Like creatively, I can get my thoughts out there. Whether or not people give a shit, I don't care because it's for me. So this is a form of self-care. And yes, I'm being defensive because yes, you hurt my feelings. You dumb bitch.
You needed to hear it.
Okay.
I will be in the same situation and you're going to be like, bitch. And you're going to be right. Anyway.
So.
This week, we are talking about New Year's Eve or New Year's traditions. For those who don't know, New Year's Eve and New Year's is Sarah's favorite holiday. And there are some I didn't know a lot about it because mostly I wanted to see first it started with New Year's resolutions because maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I stopped making resolutions on New Year's and I do it on my birthday. My birthday is also in January, so it was an easy transition, but I just only do it on my birthday. But I did some research and actually making resolutions for the next year started. I found 2 sources. One of them said 2,000 years ago. One of them said 4,000 years ago. With the Babylonians making resolutions for the upcoming year. So that was really cool, I thought.
I love that.
And even jokes about people not keeping their generation or their resolutions is also very old, which I also thought was hilarious.
We've all been there too. We have all been there.
Right? But I looked up some international New Year's celebrations because some of them were just really cool and interesting. So one of them was an old-timey one, and knights used to touch a peacock. I don't know why. And redo their chivalry vows. So it used to be called the peacock vow.
The cock vow.
I thought that was hilarious. Also, yes. Also, where do you just get a peacock in the Middle Ages.
Okay, I don't know about the Middle Ages, but I can talk about where I live right now. And there's a house down the road a little bit that she has like 4 pet peacocks. So like, I'm gonna call her and be like,
I love that
"Girl,
for you.
I need a favor. I need to."
Ma'am, can I borrow a cock or two?
Can I borrow? Yes. Okay. Next one.
So in Denmark, you smash plates on your friend's doorstep. So you go to all your friends, and like it's a sign of good luck to have like a big pile of smashed plates on your stew.
Well, I know what I'm doing
I'm like,
Valentine's Day weekend when I come to visit you. I'm going to Goodwill first.
Yes.
And then I'll come to your house, and then I'm going to help you clean it up because no, we can't live our lives like that.
You. Correct. This one is probably one of my favorites. In Estonia, eating 7, 9, or 12 meals because those numbers are lucky on New Year's Day. I'm like, excellent.
I am a fan.
Sounds excellent use.
This is
right?
Two of my favorite things: eating and Lord of the Rings. Levensies, second breakfast. Let's go.
Yes. Yes. In Turkey, they actually do 2 really, like, I thought were really interesting. They sprinkle salt on your doorstep to bring peace and prosperity, and they also smash pomegranates. I couldn't find why they smashed the pomegranates, but I thought that was cool.
I have a student from Turkey. I'm going to text him later.
Yes, ask. This one, I thought of you, and I thought it was really cool, and we should both start doing it. Yes. In Colombia, they carry an empty suitcase on New Year's Eve, like just like manifest traveling more. Like if you want to travel more, you carry an empty suitcase with you on New Year's Eve.
You're right. I do love that entirely.
Wearing polka dots on New Year's Eve is a tradition in the Philippines. I just thought that was cool because I love polka dots. I had a dog with a polka dot.
Aww.
Yeah. In Italy, they wear red underwear for fertility and good fortune. I'm like, also love that.
Done. They're done.
Wearing red underwear. Absolutely. Done. So I have 2 from Scotland because I just thought this was so cool. So Hogmanay, which I vaguely knew about because I've read a lot of Highlander romance novels, but I didn't know exactly what it is. So it is officially a celebration of, like, it is New Year's celebration, but it comes from the winter solstice festival.
Oh, I love it.
Before Christmas. So it's 3 days. It starts on December 30th, and torchbearers, pipers, and drummers form a river of light through the streets. So they all merge together. Very cool. I thought that was really cool. And like whole families. It's like like everyone just go, like that is just a thing that everyone does. Could you imagine being in like Edinburgh or like
on New
Glasgow
Year's Eve
or something?
It's a very high piece of my bucket list. Huge. Oh. Anyway.
Yes. One day. Also, the last part of this extra feeds into that bucket list item. The second day, fire spinners. My sister Emma is a fire spinner, but they have like balls of fire that they are spinning, and then at the end they throw it into the ocean to like signify like rebirth and renewal and all of that stuff. Right? So cool.
All
So
right.
cool.
Scotland is moving up the bucket list.
And then day 3, right? And then day 3, New Year's Day, you give a gift of like something lucky, like a silver coin or a lump of coal or whatever, as the first, or whiskey, as if you're the first person to go to that other person's house on New Year's. And you make toasts all day. Like, it is very like a celebration of the new year that whole day. And this is my favorite tradition of all the New Year's traditions. It's also in Scotland. It's called first stepping, and it is lucky to have a dark-haired man be the first house guest in your house on New Year's Day after midnight. And I was like,
Scotland
I love
bucket
that
list.
for me.
We're making one. We're gonna be those people that make one in Trello. Done and done. Can we also
before anyone makes fun of us for doing it on Trello, you're lucky it's not on Excel. So
but on a side note, my bucket list is actually typed up in Excel. Because of course it is. Duh. Not total caveat, but speaking of Scotland, their accents are top 3 accent for me. And I can't, if it's like a thick country accent, I can't understand a single thing, but I'm just like,
just in general, I love all accents. I love them all. Scottish accents I do really enjoy them. I also really enjoy like North Carolina has a great accent. Love it for me.
mm-hmm.
Missouri doesn't. Missouri does not have a good.
I beg to differ. I say that because Missouri, however rural for the majority of the state, I worked at a 24-hour gas station the first time that we lived in Missouri, and the people that would come in at 3 a.m. because they were about to go start working on the farm, go whatever. The number of people that would come in that were not drinking, that I couldn't understand a single fucking thing coming out of their mouths. I'm not even joking. It was a thick Missouri, what I would consider a hillbilly accent. It was, wow, shocking. Absolutely shocking.
That's true.
But I mean, if we talk about like Montana, we talk about Texas, of course, Texas, but let's also talk about like Louisiana and that little like, oh, you're right. I do love accents in general. I literally have the best job in the world. I
love accents. I love accents so much. I love them all. I love like how different people say things differently, or like what people call things.
Yes.
Differently.
I was just going to say, we have to do an episode on how things are called differently in different languages. So like,
yes,
it happens all the time at work. So like my stapler, right? For Americans, for most of the English language, a stapler is a stapler, right? You put staples in paper or whatever, right? I had a girl from Uganda who mostly speaks English, but they have their local languages. The translation for her is staple machine. And so that my stapler has a name on it. It has my name on it, and that's my staple machine. So whenever a student asks for a stapler, I'm like, "Oh, you mean my staple machine? How dare you?" Like, very funny. Same thing with a paper shredder. Like for Americans, that's a shredder, right? The translation, and I can't remember if it's Latvian or Estonian, but the direct translation for them is paper destroyer. And now my little shredder is now a destroyer. Yes. So yeah, we should do an episode on that because it would just be fun.
That would be so much fun. But yeah, I was thinking about like I like resolutions in general. Like I have, I want to say the last like 5 years or so. I started doing it when I turned 30, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like going out and doing like a huge thing, I was like, I am going to get a massage. I'm going to take a nap. But also more like, instead of resolutions that are like, I want to work out more. That, not that that's a bad resolution to have. Like
Correct.
people, and like I was reading statistics on it, and like depending on the source, because studies like that are usually done with surveys, so you really like, it's not a great way to get like definitive stats, but
Yeah.
between 40 and 60% of people keep their New Year's resolutions, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like that's a decent chunk of people.
That's more than I was going to guess. So
yeah, me too. I was going to guess like 20%, 30
yes.
maybe.
Yes.
But it was, it sort of like made me a little bit more hopeful is not really the right word. Like a little bit more motivated to like put some thought and consideration into New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
And be like, what do I want? This is also a time of transitions for me. So I think it's extra important that I have really good resolutions. But yeah, because my birthday's coming up and I'll be turning 35, which is also kind of a milestone birthday. I mean, they're all milestone birthdays. I love birthdays, especially my birthday. I just found out that Daisy's gotcha day was my birthday 2 years ago.
Oh my God. She's meant to
I
be your dog.
She was meant to be my dog. Right now she's sleeping on my bed next to my laundry. She was napping next to me while I was folding my laundry for moral support, I assume.
Must be.
This dog. So her brain is so smooth. She so smooth. She just learned how to like, we have a storm door and it doesn't, like, the latch doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And she just learned how to open it with her paw instead of her face.
Oh, that's really cute.
It is very cute. She also does not, she does not have like understand the connection between, she doesn't know how doors work. So she loves my comforter. I have like one of the first things I did when I moved out is I bought this like 100% organic cotton, like muslin comforter, and I love it. It is my pride and joy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Zero regrets. I have nice like linen sheet. Like I love sleeping. I want to enjoy it. So anyway, I have a really nice comforter and really nice sheets. And she loves my comforter. It can be balled up in the corner of the bed. She will get on top of my comforter. Like that is her favorite place. That is her.
I love that
throne.
so much. She's so cute.
She's so cute. But I shut my door during the day when I'm at work because we have 2 dogs in the house and they will both come onto my bed and sleep on it. And I don't want a bunch of dog hair all over my usually clean laundry because that's where my clean laundry goes because I don't.
Girl, same. Hold it. Same. My bed right now.
So
there's the size of a person amount of laundry on one half of the bed so that I can sleep on the other. It's horrible. It's a horrible habit.
Yes.
My New Year's resolution is to break that habit because I need to learn how to keep house while drowning.
Yes. But yeah, so she doesn't realize that a person has to open the door. She just thinks that the door opens by some kind of magic. So when she wants to go in my room, she just keeps checking if the door is open, even if no one has come downstairs to open the door.
She's so cute. I can't even. That's so cute.
She's so cute. She's also the sweetest dog I've ever met. Like, honestly, she's the sweetest. Like, she's not reactive. She's like very like good with other dogs. She doesn't bark. She'll whine a little bit if she needs to come back inside, but she is not like, if she doesn't beg, like, the person that had her before, both dogs before, definitely fed them at the table. So there's a bit of that we're breaking, but both dogs are good at, like, and Daisy is good enough that we're just like, go. And she's like, okay. And then just lays down. Like,
That's
now,
so cute.
I took her on a play date last night and she got in between the two fences because there's a big hole in the fence.
Oh.
And she got between the two fences. And she couldn't figure out how to get back out. Was she stuck? No. She was
just stuck
where the hole was. Yeah, she didn't know how to get out.
She's so like, I just want to scoop her up in my arms and cuddle her. Like, it's okay. I'll take care of you. I got you, boo.
She is baby. She is baby.
Hi, my name is Trisha, and I am the Vice President of the nonprofit Casey Book Beat. We aim to connect readers with local literary talent, fostering a deeper appreciation for the stories that shape our community. Through this catalog and our local events, we want to provide a platform for authors, bookstores, and publishers to reach a wider audience and strengthen their presence in Kansas City. We have so many amazing events coming up in the year 2025. We have our writers' workshop in January. We have a children's book fair in April and so many more, including our Casey Lit Libations in May and November. Love to see you.
Welcome to the show. It's very on brand for us anyway.
We are understaffed. I think I'm more mentally understaffed than I am giving myself credit for, because I can't put two thoughts together. Like, I have been very frazzled for the last couple of days, and I think that, like, the burnout on top of holiday blues, on top of, like, not actually seeing my family. Like, I was alone on Christmas, which was really not great. Now, like, my roommate's family was here, so that was really nice. You know, like, I spent a little bit of time with them, but it was, you know, they have their family unit and I'm the roommate, you know, so, like, I also felt like I was imposed. So being alone on Christmas was not, like, the most ideal situation, but also the status of my family too, the way that my mom is, the way that my aunt and uncle are, I think I would have been more depressed visiting them on one of my favorite holidays. Does that make sense? Like, I'm kind of glad that I was by myself on Christmas and I went for Thanksgiving and I went for a weekend in December to visit them. But, like, yeah, so, like, all of those things kind of combined into this week and how, like, you know, my control freak brain had X amount of things that I was going to get done and I couldn't because of weather. And now today with President Carter's funeral, like, you know, it's just a whirlwind and I'm more frazzled than I think that I am. And that's okay. But so, okay, first of all, one thing, this episode is actually going to release before the Chinese New Year. So I'm really pumped about that too, because the Chinese New Year has their own, like, their own traditions too, which is exciting. So one of the things, of course, for Chinese New Year is they have ancestor worship. And so the family reunion dinner is what they do for the Chinese New Year. And then they have ancestor worship, which is two of the most important highlights of the celebrations of the eve of the New Year. They call it, well, I'm not going to pronounce it because Chinese is not my forte. They also have, of course, firecrackers and fireworks, but they have dragon and lion dances. So if you go to a Chinese New Year festival, chances are that you're going to see a lion or a dragon dance. And you've probably seen some of those traditional Chinese dragon dances at some point. They really are, like, incredible. It's a performance. It is, it is practiced for months in advance, and they do something different every year. And then they have the traditional ones. It's incredible. Another thing that they do, which I think is hilarious, is they do their New Year cleaning. So you have to clean the house before the New Year, not on the day, because if you are cleaning on the day, like, you're meant to, like, relax and celebrate on the day. So it's also customary not to sweep, mop, scrub, or wash on the first day of the Lunar New Year, lest the good luck be swept away. Some even go as far as hiding their brooms, which I think is adorable. Let me see.
That is. I was talking to someone and they said something like that. They were like, yeah, you're not supposed to do laundry on New Year's because it means you could wash somebody out of your life. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily believe in that stuff, but I'm absolutely like, I love participating in that stuff, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, absolutely. Like, those traditions, I think are important.
Yeah. Red is also a significant color for Chinese culture. So usually there is ornaments that are decorated all over the house that are red. So it's paper cuttings, lanterns, flowers. Red is considered an auspicious color, says Yen. It also holds significant cultural importance. So it symbolizes good luck and protects against evil spirits. And so you will see streets and homes and businesses that all have some kind of like red decoration for the Chinese New Year. So I think that's really cool. And then I did pull up an article about New Year's resolutions because we're kind of talking about it, and I had an idea in my head. So only 15% of Americans spend New Year's Eve at a party or a public event, which I find appalling. New Year's Eve is like
correct
my favorite. 45% of people ring in the New Year with friends and family, while 24% prefer to stay at home, and 3% don't celebrate at all. Which is sad to me. But again, New Year's is my favorite. Those who head to the famous Times Square party throw 1.5 tons of confetti, and trash generated takes 300 sanitation workers 15 or 16 hours to clean up. Holy hell.
We need to do better.
We need to do better.
At least get biodegradable confetti.
Correct. Yes. What do you think the 4 most popular goals that people set are? And it's very easy.
Work out more. Spend more time with friends. Eat better. I don't know, be a better person.
So you got 2 of them. So exercise, eat well, and lose weight. So I think all 3 of those are all part of self-care. The 4th one is save money.
Yeah. Oh.
So
I should save money.
This article goes on to tips to stick with promises for the new year. So it says, according to personal growth experts, the New Year's resolutions fail for many reasons, ranging from goals that aren't realistic to those that aren't specific enough, which I never really thought about being more specific as a tool of failure. One of them is being realistic. So one way to increase the likelihood that you'll stick with your self-made promises is to be realistic. If you want to develop a healthier exercise habit, start slowly and build up over time. If you aim too high right away, it's easier to become frustrated and disappointed and give up quickly. Be forgiving. How many times have we said, give yourself some grace? We've said it 1,000,000 times. Forgive yourself if you get off track and recommit to your goal. A few stressful days at work might lead to you skipping the gym or hitting the donut shop instead. Shake it off and try again. Just don't give up. Which, 100%. Hard to do, but 100%. The last one is being specific, which again, not something that I really thought about until I read this. One final tip is to make your resolutions clear and explicit. Vague goals like lose weight or exercise more just aren't specific enough to hold you accountable. So for example, deciding what your healthy weight should be should help you determine how much weight you want to lose or need to lose and break it down into smaller steps. It's also probably a good idea to discuss your goals with your healthcare provider and ask for advice on the best diet for your personal situation. So it's interesting. This is also one little tidbit that they put in there. People in the US consume up to 3 times more sugar than the recommended daily allowance. So if one of your resolutions is to eat healthier, you might need to decrease the amount of sugar in your diet. Big shock. Big shock. It's a little annoying. But
Yeah, rude.
God. I guess we can kind of wrap this, but there is one thing that Erika and I decided that we were going to try to do, like, somewhat to ourselves. I found on Twitter 100 self-discovery questions. So, Erika, do you have yours pulled up, or at least the image?
Yeah, I can in a second.
Okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick scan. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and then you can ask me 3, and I'll keep track of them, and we'll just do random ones for random episodes.
I think this sort of goes with our, it's New Year's, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What are your top priorities right now? That's number 36.
Ooh. Oh, that's a good one. Self-care. Regular self-care is one that, if we're talking about New Year's resolutions, that's a top priority for me. I also have quite a bit of travel planned for this year. So another top priority is to make sure that I have, like, realistic goals as far as, like, the money that I set aside for, like, spending versus the things that I'm, like, also planning to purchase for other people. And yes, it's purchasing things for other people because it makes me happy. I feel so called out. That's the meanest thing you've ever said to me.
I do too.
And then the other one is doing better at keeping my house while drowning. Like, making my house work for me instead of me working for my house. That is one thing. Like, that, I kid you not, that book changed my life.
Yeah, same. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. For you, let me see here. Where did it go? I just had it. Dun, 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 dun. Number 28. Someone just handed you $1 million. What are you going to do with it?
Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a house.
Hell yeah.
And I'm going to buy a house, pay off my car. I'm not going to buy a new car because I fucking love my car. I would, honestly, I know this sounds like I'm an old person, because I kind of am. But if somebody gave me $1 million, I would buy a house. I would pay off my car. I would probably, like, put some of it, like, in my TSP or my retirement account or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have more in, like, just like a savings account for things that I want. And I would probably, like, travel a lot. Like, I would travel with my friends. Like, I would invest more money in the podcast, or I like making the lives of the people around me easier. So, like, I would buy a house, but I would still want my roommates and my sister to live with me. I just wouldn't charge them rent. Like, I still, like,
100%.
That's what I would do. It would make it easier for me to do things that I really love.
Aww.
I'll bet your ass we would go to Scotland for New Year's Eve.
Oh, you would listen.
That is a bucket list item.
You would be my daddy so quick. Oh, oh my God. Wow.
Number 32. What keeps you grounded?
Rude. I don't know how to answer that. I would say, like, the little things keep me grounded. So, like, I'm I'm very much the person that like, especially when I lived in Alaska, even when I lived in Germany, I would drive to work and it was a mountainside and an ocean. So like I would drive to work and be like, I live in the most beautiful place ever. I fucking live here. It's those little things. So like Missouri has really beautiful sunrises and sunsets. So when I have the opportunity to drive to work and there's this beautiful, incredible sunrise happening and there's these colors that are just unimaginable, that those kinds of things really like help me to like put myself, this is where I am now. This is where I need to be. This is where I am. And I need to own it and like live in the moment. And like, I'm going to pull over and take a picture of this fucking sunrise because it's incredible and share it with someone. Like those kinds of things, like it's like the little things in life that really show me that like I'm here, I'm a person, I'm present, and like I'm doing what I can. Yeah. Okay. One for you. Okay. Number 95. What is something you avoid like the plague?
Okay. Rude. Rude. That was uncalled for. You knew exactly what you were doing. What is some intimacy? Honestly, that's probably it. Like, putting myself in a situation where I have to put myself at literally any risk emotionally. Like doing something, like putting something out there that is very personal or intimate to me. And whether that's like, you know, in a romantic situation where you're just trusting that the other person isn't a piece of shit, which is not my strong suit. Or working, you know, like being like this podcast is one thing that like I still share it and do all of that stuff. And I talk about it with everyone just because it's like, marketing is important and I really want it to do well. But like, this is something that is really personal to me and very important to me. And I really like it. And like, I work really hard. We both work really hard on it. And I still struggle with like, what if someone sees it and is like, this sucks, you know, because that would suck for me because of how much of myself I put into it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Okay. We'll knock it off there. I love you.
I love you. All right, guys, that's it for us. Remember Casey Bookbeat, Lit Libations is May
10th?
That's a Saturday. We will be there. We will also be recording a podcast live there. So we would love to meet you. It would be really, really exciting. We're so excited to go, just to be invited. If you haven't yet listened to our episode with Trisha Otis, she's the vice president of Casey Bookbeat. Just in general, an absolute delight, wonderful, wonderful human being, but also the whole mission of everything that they do is awesome and excellent and just, you know, worth your time and attention. We also still have merch, so definitely check that out. It's hilarious and amazing because we are both hilarious and amazing. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave us a review. We literally, the serotonin we get from those reviews, the dopamine hit,
the adrenaline rush.
So, yes, please. There's one more thing, but I forgot what it was. Anyway, we love you. We love you so much. Without you, we would be potting into the void.
For the record, last week's episode that you had to re-record the outro like 4 times, I have that compiled into a video and I'm putting it on YouTube this week because it's hilarious.
I mean, do it.
Obviously, but it is very funny. So anyway, guys, Hope you enjoy, and we will see you guys next week.